We also talk about perceived risk as a factor when it comes to decision making, as in how we perceive the risk level to be risky, high risk versus low risk, anything along these lines. And when we're talking risk, I'm not talking just financial risk, as in the more expensive, the riskier the decision. No, I'm talking about all types of risk. I'm talking functional risk, like do you think such a product functions well or not? Will it perform up to expectations or not? I'm talking about physical risk. Is it gonna pose a threat? Is it something that if I use I might hurt myself or hurt someone around me? I'm talking about financial risk, which is the obvious one. I'm talking about social risk, as in, will I be judged? Will my friends judge me based on that product? Is it going to embarrass me that I'm not wearing or using that famous brand or not? Is it something I'm going to use just in private and nobody cares? Or is it something that's highly visible and it's a high social risk? So those are factors as well. There's also psychological risk, and that's whether psychologically you're okay with something like that. Does it go against your morals? Does it go against your attitudes? Does it go against your beliefs? It's like, let's say you're an environmentalist and you know your wife or your spouse likes fur, and you're thinking, should I buy her, you know, a fur coat or something like that? So that's kind of a psychological risk because it goes against everything you believe in. You're an environmentalist. You don't want to kill animals to make a fur coat. Doesn't make sense to you. So that's a psychological risk. And then there's also the time risk, and that's mainly if the failure of the product will result in an opportunity cost, right? Because you have to now find another product or get a return or anything along these lines. So that's time risk. All those are involved when we're talking about how you perceive the risk level when it comes to a purchase. Not just financial and the cost, it's all of them. Have you heard of cognitive dissonance? No? Cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is a feeling that you might have after you bought a product. It's some kind of regret. It's not remorse. It's not buyer's remorse. It's not you buying a product, going home, trying it, and it's not what you expected. It's really bad. It doesn't meet your expectation, or it doesn't function well, so you regret buying it. No, that's buyer's remorse. It's a different kind of regret. It's you knowing that the product is perfect, the product is good, and it's exactly what you need. But what if there are equally good options out there? I'm not going to say better options, no, equally good. And why did I choose this one and not another equally good option? That drives us mad. And that's called cognitive dissonance. It always happens after the purchase, right? There's no solution for it. The only solution is to return the product and buy something else. And if you do that, the cognitive dissonance is going to be towards something else now. So there's no solution, technically. And it's going to always nag us. A lot of times, they end up returning the product completely and saying, well, I'll wait and see. Because I don't want to buy something now, I'll wait and see. Because you're worried about it. The only solution indirectly to it is if the salesperson tries to support the decision you just made, like congratulating you on a really good decision made. And think about it this way: any restaurant you go to, or think of any purchase that you've made, and when you decide on it, and when the salesperson tells you, you made a good choice, it's a really good product. At a restaurant, they do that all the time, right? You choose the burger and they say, good choice, it's a really good burger. And your friend chooses the pasta and they tell them, good choice, it's a really good pasta. So wait a minute, which one should I go with? Is it the pasta or the burger? I'm not going to go there, but that's the idea. They confirm or reconfirm your decision to give you that kind of feeling that, yep, you did the right thing, you made the right choice. Same thing when you're buying other stuff. If it's not a restaurant, they tell you it looks great on you, it looks perfect on you, it suits you very well, whatever it is, because they're trying to give you that support so they don't let cognitive dissonance to sneak in and try to change your mind. All those things happen at the post-purchase stage, as in after you've already bought the product and you're going home. Cognitive dissonance. And that's why we study the post-purchase level. Although the consumer bought the product and they went home, our job doesn't end. I want to know what's happening post purchase. I want to know if he's or she's suffering from cognitive dissonance and know how they're going to deal with it. I want to know about how satisfied they are with the product. I want to know about their disposal. How do they end up disposing the product? Do they keep it forever and it becomes a memento or something like that? Or do they give it to their siblings when they're done with it? Do they resell it on eBay or Craigslist or something like that? What do they do? Do they just throw it away when they're done with it? Like really dispose it? All those are important to us. I want to know what the consumer did because I want to learn for the future. And that's what happens at the post purchase, which is the fifth step of the decision making process. This is this is just an example, a chart that explains how consumers might use and dispose products. Again, it's just an example. I'm not expecting to know these because again, it's not comprehensive by any means, right? But it's just a good example on how we can look at things. So go through it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Now, are we going to go through that comprehensive process? 5 steps that'll take forever, and I spoke about it and talked about it for a very long period of time. Are we going to do it all the time, every time we face a new purchase or a purchase in general? Well, no. Sadly, no. Sorry about that. A lot of the time, we try to minimize the effort and the energy and the time we're going to put into a decision making process because, again, we're busy. And most importantly, we're not rational. So, although we know that if we put a little bit more effort, a little bit more time, we might make a better decision, we still don't care. We're okay with a close enough decision as long as we don't put a lot of time and energy and effort into it. And that's what low involvement decision making processes are about. Another proof that we're also irrational is the fact that we're variety seeking. And let me give you an example. How many times have you bought a product or a new brand, although the brand or the product you usually buy was right there at the store in front of you, you still decided to buy the new item because you wanted to try it? So let's say you're out of detergent and you always buy Tide. Always. And it's good. It's perfect for you. It cleans very well. The scent is very nice. The price is okay. It fits the bill. And you've been doing it since forever. Since probably your mom taught you when you first left the house. But now you're on the market to buy a detergent, as in you ran out and you're buying a new one. And you're out there and you see a new brand like Persil, which is a brand that's been on the market since forever in Europe, but it just made it into the US now. It's made by the Dial company, which is a Henkel company, which is kind of like the P&G of Europe. Henkel is a pretty big German company when it comes to fast-moving consumer goods, but they just entered the market with Persil through their Dial company in the US. So you're looking at the package. It's a new detergent. It's very cute. It's very vivid blue color packaging with red logos, the Persil brand logo, and things like that. So it attracts your attention, and you're thinking, hey, let me try it. What happened? You've been buying Tide since forever, and you know how good it is. Why would you take the risk? Tide to you is almost risk free. I'm not going to say risk free because, again, there's no such thing as risk free. But it's a risk you know. You've tried it, you've dealt with it, you know it, right? Why would you try something new? Because we get bored of our products. We're variety seekers. If we always buy the same product, we get bored. We want something new. We want kind of something to feel new and get us excited about doing laundry and things like that. We're variety seekers. That's what we do. We're irrational. Variety seeking behaviors are completely irrational. You're changing the products that you buy or the brands that you buy just because you want some variety in your purchases, which is crazy, guys. But that's what we do. Some of the detours or shortcuts that we take to make those quick decisions are called decision heuristics. Okay? Now, like I said earlier, with the shortcuts and detours that we try to find to minimize the effort, we do things like heuristics. Heuristics are directly related to mental accounting and behavioral pricing, which we're going to discuss separately in their own chapter later on in the semester. So I'm going to talk about it very briefly because when we get to behavioral pricing, we're going to talk about it in details. But heuristics are shortcuts or rules of thumb or detours that you come up with to make a quick decision without having to go through the full decision making process. One of those heuristics, as I was saying, is country of origin effect. It's not on the slide, but it's in the book. Country of origin effect is when you know that a country is really good at making a specific product. Let's say France and wine. Okay? You know nothing about wine. You're at the store and you need to buy a really good bottle of wine as a gift to someone. You know nothing about wine, there's no one there to help you, and you're thinking, well, France is good at wine, so if I get a French wine, I get a better luck at getting a good bottle of wine. Right? That's rational. Well, it's really not, but we're trying to rationalize it. Okay? And that's the country of origin effect. It's a heuristic where we associate countries with a specific product. So, electronics, it'd be US or Japan. Wine, it'll be France. Or Napa, if we're talking the US. Chocolate, what do you think? Belgium or Switzerland, right? Those are associations that we have implanted, and thus sometimes we use them as a rule to make a decision. Others are things like the price quality correlation heuristic, which is again not on the slide, but it's something that you know and use. You don't know anything about the brands, you have five options, and you want to buy the best one. Most likely, you're going to go with the most expensive one because you're thinking in your head the more expensive, the higher the quality, right? That's a heuristic, that's a rule that we learn. Now we have the availability, representativeness, and accurate adjustment. I'm going to talk about them in details later on in that chapter, the behavioral pricing chapter. So I'm going to talk about it now because I want to save my examples to then. I don't want to be redundant. But we'll get to it. For now, that is our chapter. Thank you guys for listening.